Good morning on this Sunday morning. I'm going to do a Sunday morning sermon. I got this idea from MLD at John at Modern Life Dating. So today we're going to be on the first Bible verse is going to be out of the King James Bible, Deuteronomy. And it says this: See now, I am He, even I, and there is no God besides me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Nor is there any who can deliver from my hand. Now see that I, even I am. What did Moses say when he asked the name of God? I am that I am. You can never get away from yourself. You're always going to be existing, being aware of I am. What do you put after that? I am a painter, I am a teacher, I am a laborer, I am an entrepreneur, I am a father, I am a husband. Can you see how many different aspects of I am you have been in your life? I am a child, I am a son, I am a father, I am a student. Who puts that label on there? Does God come down and do that? No, you, the very being, your essence, decides who you are. Excuse me. And you can decide what you want to be today. I am. I am a father. I am an entrepreneur. I am a YouTuber. Now, I've been many I ams also. And if you look back on your life, you can see that you have done the same. Who made that choice? Did God make that choice for you? In a very real sense, He did, because God lives inside of you and me. Mother Teresa, in the streets of Calcutta, when she would help the sick and the desolate and the starving, someone once asked her what she saw when she looked into the eyes of these poorest, saddest people in the world. And she said, when I look into their eyes, I see Jesus looking back at me. And of course, Christians believe that Jesus is God. I believe the same thing, but I also believe that you're God. What does this say? Think about that. Now, if you think that's far-fetched, let's back up here. What does this say? Now see that I, even I am He, and there is no God besides me. I kill. Who kills? Who kills in life? How many people died in World War II? It was like over 50 million people. Who did that? Hitler. Hitler started that within his mind, the God within him. Now, some of you are going to say, oh no, he couldn't be God. But what does it say here? I am He. I kill. This is a reference to God out of the Bible. Now, I'm not a religious man, okay? But this is a book that has been here for thousands of years, and there's a lot of wisdom in that. I'm not sure what you believe. That's up to you. Whatever your conception of God is, or whether you have no conception of that. But it says here, I kill, I make alive. Who gives birth? Who makes children? The seed of man in a woman creates a child. And the woman gives life to that child. She nurtures that baby for 9 months in her womb. Man. And when I say man, I'm talking about man and woman. I'm talking about humanity. I refer to it as man. But it includes, of course, women and children. So who does that? You, I. We kill. We make alive. We destroy. We decimate. We build up. Your words have the power to lift people up or to destroy them. When I was growing up, I heard many things like some of you probably did. You're never going to amount to anything. You don't have enough sense to pound sand in a rat hole. Act like you got some sense. You don't have the sense you were born with, etc., etc. All these things basically are telling you you're stupid. Now, you and I know that you're not stupid, of course. Now we're adults. But these things imprint us. Because to us, our parents are like gods, or whoever is taking care of us, they're like gods to us. Because in our mind, in our young, impressionable mind, we don't think we could live without them. And the reality is we would die without their support, help, provision, if someone else didn't take their place. So in a very real sense, our parents are our first conception of God. My dad wasn't a terrible person. I'm not saying that. He just passed on to me what was passed on to him. But I took that in, and these are things we have to deal with when we become adults. We have to get past those things. And we decide what we're going to be. Are we going to carry that through our life? Well, my dad said I was stupid, so I am. And I'm going to say that. Be very careful what you say. You're designating that to yourself. Many people think taking the Lord's name in vain is saying damn after God. To take the Lord's name is to say I am in vain. I am this. I am that. To say it in a derogatory way about yourself, because you imprint that upon your subconscious, which is connected to the superconscious or God, universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it, and that directs your life. In Solomon, it talks about going to sleep, how important it is before you go to sleep. He's going to meet his lover. His lover is the one who he makes love to and impregnates. His subconscious mind he impregnates with the last thought that he has before he goes to sleep. So be very careful what you're thinking before you go to sleep. I take the Bible not so much as a literary history, although it may be, but it's how you work. It's the mechanisms, the way the human mind works, how you can create things. Science is now discovering what the ancient mystics, Jesus, and many of the great seers throughout the history, many of them have written in the Bible. They're discovering this factually, that what they said thousands of years ago is true. How many of us don't know that what you think determines the actions you take? And I say this all the time. Look out around where you are, your environment. Your environment is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you. Right now, I'm experiencing a small amount of lack. Well, an amount of lack, it seems like a large amount. So I've looked within myself. Where am I lacking within myself? And I'll be honest with you, I can't find it. Okay, so another way to look at things like this when you're going through a difficult time is, do you have dreams? Do you have goals? And you realize as well as I do, excuse me, that if you want to achieve this level of success, you have to rise in consciousness. And how do you build character? How do you build integrity? How do you build muscle? By resistance. Okay, most people won't seek out adversities and challenges. But if you have a dream and a goal, and to achieve that and to maintain it, you have to have character, integrity, and inner strength. You are going to self-create challenges, or the God within you, the same one that's in me, will create situations for you to be challenged, because the only way to build inner strength is to have challenge in your life. So I've thoroughly probed myself, inventory, and I cannot see how I created this situation, although I'm sure I did subconsciously, because that's what runs your life. When you program your subconscious mind with a goal, let's say, for example, every day, you look at your goal in the morning, you look at it in the evening, every day, and you think about that goal. You visualize yourself achieving and being the man that you want to be. God has ways that you know not of, and his ways are not man's ways. You can make a plan. It's a good idea to make a plan. I have a plan, but your plans are subject to change. And who was it? Steve Jobs, was it him, who said, you cannot see in advance or in the present how things are going to work out. It's only looking in retrospect, and that's not verbatim how he said it. But you can't put the pieces of the puzzle together until you look back. And then you see how these seeming tragedies, difficult experiences, challenges, these people you met haphazardly or coincidentally led you to the end of your goal, to achieve the success you desire. And that's something else you need to remember too. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. If you're not enjoying today, regardless of what your situation is, you're not going to enjoy the success you dream of tomorrow. Because all there is now, the present moment. When you get there, it's going to be now. Yesterday at this time, it was now. So when you go through these trials and challenges, it's teaching you to appreciate the present moment. Can you find something wonderful now? For me, it's this. Like I said, we're going through some lean times here because I have all my money invested in other ventures. So I have investment things, but not money I can get to. So the family, we sat down the other day and we talked about it. And just coincidentally, all 4 of my kids started working just in the last week or two. Two of my boys work for me. Of course, we're slow. We've just been getting a day or two in here and there. But my oldest son works for someone else, and they needed a couple other guys, so my 2 sons are working there. My other son just got a really good job out here at Toyota. My daughter's working at one of the fast food joints. She's 16. And we all sit down, and even though one of my sons, Frank, has just been dreaming about buying this car, and he was talking about he's going to take his first check and this and that to buy a car, he offered to help out with that. Now, how would that have come about? It brought our family even closer together. And I'll say this too. In the last few weeks, since we've been going through this lean time, we've had a lot of time sitting around as a family talking. It's brought us closer together. So you must look for the positives in everything you're going through. If you're going through something today, there's good in it, and it's for you. If you're heading in a direction. If you don't have a goal, though, many times these crises are just a crisis you have to get through. And there's no constructive, end in sight. You're just trying to get through this difficult time. But if you have a goal and you're moving towards something, these difficult times are brought to you to build up your inner man. And why is that so important? Because unless you build up the inner man, look around. I watched the movie Elvis Presley last night. There's a good example. That guy was great. I never was a big fan of him, but I watched that, and he was 42, and he was really addicted to drugs or alcohol or both, it looked like. And the success he had was phenomenal, but he didn't have the inner character and strength to handle it. And I'm not saying I could do it either. It's just, that is why it's so important. And you can probably think of many other actors, famous athletes who rose to the top seemingly overnight, which it probably wasn't overnight, but yet they didn't have the character to handle the power that comes along with the notoriety, the fame, and the money they had. And they self-destructed, or they didn't feel like they deserved it, or whatever it happened to be. So if you see someone, instead of being jealous of them because they're very successful and they maintain their success, you have no idea what they've had to go through and the hardships. They voluntarily went through hardships, difficulties, disappointments, deaths, trials, tribulations to get to where they are. And many of them, if not all of them, had a belief in a higher power, in a God, in something other than themselves. And the reason that's so important is because there's going to come a time in your life, like similar to what I'm going through right now, where I'm doing everything I can do, but nothing has happened. But yet something is happening. It happens inside of me. It happens inside of you. And that's when you have to trust that something is taking care of you. Something is working for your greater good, even though you can't see it. So you have to trust the invisible. Trust God. That's what I do. It's difficult. Am I great at it? No. Do I get pissed off sometimes? Yes, I do. Do I sometimes wonder if it's all a bunch of BS? Yes, of course I do. But you keep pressing on. And if you look back in your life, there have been times when you were at the same spot, similar. Maybe this time it's worse, but you got through that, didn't you? If you're here listening to me today, you got through that. Who got you through that? I would bet you if you look back, certain funny coincidences happened, or something just happened to come up, some little break after all the seemingly terrible things that happened. one thing after another. For me, for example, yesterday, the sump pump quit working, so that was one thing. Then what else? Okay, my heater, the furnace. I think only one of the elements is working because downstairs it's like 55 degrees, all right? And then I get a bill from Workman's Comp, which is like damn near $10,000, unexpectedly. So I gotta laugh at it because it's like, okay, and I could go back through the week and tell you other things that happened. It was just one chop after another. But I'm sure you've been through similar things, but you have to have some trust during these times. You have to learn how to accept the lean times as well as the wonderful times. And just because you have a lot of money does not mean you're not going to go through times like that. Everyone goes through those times because money's great. I like money. I like the freedom, the feeling of freedom that I get from it because I can do what I want when I want. Okay, but there are things that problems money cannot solve. Some people say if you have a problem money can solve, you don't have a problem. Well, actually, I have no problems today. Not really. I have situations. And that's something else you really need to frame it. Situations. Not problems, but situations. Regardless of how much money you have, as I said, you cannot change if one of your sons or daughters goes out and has a car accident and dies. You can't do anything about that. Money will not fix that. Your wife decides that she wants to be free. Money's not going to stop that. Sickness, money can't stop that. Sure, it can get you medicine, better health care, but there are so many things that money cannot fix. So what do you do then? What do you do when money doesn't work? I tell you what most people do, even if they don't believe in God, they pray. What do they say? There are no atheists in foxholes. When all else fails, people pray. They reach out to something, even if they never have before. And like I said, I'm not pushing religion on you at all. I'm just giving you an option, something that works when nothing else does work. And here's the deal. What do you got to lose? Try it. If it doesn't work, you're no worse off than you were. Prayer and meditation is so important. And like I said, I don't believe, this is just me personally, I don't believe in some white-headed guy up there that's taking notes and going to punish me and throw me in hell forever. No, but I believe in a loving God, there's a fly in here, a loving source that takes care of me, a higher self, if you like. There's something, some energy, some power that works for the good of all. But you have to look for that good, as I said earlier. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's my Sunday sermon. I hope that's helped you. I hope it's inspired you, because that's why I'm here. I may do more of these. If you like this, leave a comment in the comment section, and we'll try it next Sunday. If you'd like to get my help personally, I do consultations. I have a Christmas special, half off. Check out my website at marksinspirationalguidance.com. Book a session. Be glad to talk to you. Take care. Have a great day. And check out Alfie Kingdom. He got books on Amazon. I think he's written over 40 books. Check out my books there. Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels, and The Power is Within. See you next time.